Rich Hayden. I own Virtual Reality Racing Club. We're here at Goodwood Festival of Speed. I'm here with Purple Sector Performance, which is a race driver training, all levels, club championship, all the way up to Le Mans level. What we do is we help them out with race simulation and driver coaching, and we do that using our SimRace Pro simulators, which you see behind me. They're really high-level simulation, and we use virtual reality to make sure that the immersion for the driver is as best as it could be, and giving them the accuracy to be able to follow the right lines and be as accurate with their driving style as they can be. One of the things we use with that is the HTC Vive Pro headset with a real high resolution. It's fantastic for driver training. It's the only way to drive a racing simulator. The average speed improvement or time improvement for a pro driver going from screens to VR is minimum is 1 second a lap, and the average is anywhere between 1.5 and 2 seconds per lap.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And we are finally in Asia at the Sepang International Circuit just outside of Selangor in Malaysia. Welcome to the 7th round of the Virtual Reality Racing Club Touring Car eSeries, brought to you in association with MSL Motorsport Consultancy and heatingshop.ie. So far, over the past 12 races, we've had 9 different winners. And we've had 3 drivers do the complete clean sweep. Alex Goldschmidt and Martin Jones, your official commentators for this series. And Martin, a very good evening. How have you been keeping?
Good evening. It's great being me, having a great time, thank you. Yeah, looking forward to this again. Great circuit, it's wide, fast, technical. If you haven't put the hours in, you'll be found out on this. So let's see what the racers have got to do today. It's been, yeah, looking forward to this. Enjoyed the circuit at the time, and I think the heavy boys won't be that penalised here, but we'll see.
Indeed. 3.445 miles, 5.543 kilometres. Last hosted the Malaysian Grand Prix back in 2017, and it's an FIA Grade 1 listed circuit, a capacity in the stands of 100,000 people, and originally designed by one Mr. Herman Tilke. They broke ground here at the circuit on the 1st of November 1997, and then opened it on the 7th of March. And the fastest lap ever recorded around the Sepang International Circuit is by one 4-time Formula One world champion, Sebastian Vettel, back with Ferrari in 2017. But it's one thing, Martin, in a Formula One car, it's a very different thing altogether in a touring car, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it's a great proposition, this, for the guys. There's a whole host of turns, 15 turns. One of those circuits that Herman had a blank sheet of paper to play with, and yeah, he did a marvellous job. The concept was quite interesting. That this is only, it sits between, or sits at the far end of the from Kuala Lumpur to the airport to the circuit, and that was the concept that they were thinking, that it would expand the city out to the area. I must admit, if we got to stay in Kuala Lumpur, that was great fun. But if we got to stay at the hotel at the airport, that wasn't so much great fun. That was really in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, very much the case. I mean, obviously it's 45 kilometres, that's 28 miles south of Kuala Lumpur, and it's also hosted the MotoGP Grand Prix. But here are the results back from Snetterton. Luke Whitehead along with Max Coates back at Brands Hatch, and then also Senna Proctor at Barcelona, did the unthinkable. Pole position in qualifying, took the race 1 victory, and then did the same again, but also picked up the fastest lap in both races, giving him a total of 118 points. And as you can see, it was Max Coates who did the Grand Chelem when it came to being second best all the way through quali, race 1 and race 2, with Jordan Brennan, who joined us for Snetterton. Then in qualifying, the top 3 in race 1 was rounded out by Max Bird, and then race 2 was rounded out by Isaac Smith on the podium. We do have a couple of new drivers here with us, but first of all, let's get on to the standings. Senna Proctor leads by just 5 points ahead of Jack McIntyre, with Dave Marshall now finding himself with, I think, the lowest amount of ballast by about 20 kilos for the first time in quite a few rounds. Alex Toth-Jones rounds out the top 4, ahead of Accelerate's Isaac Smith. Rob Butler in 6th, ahead of Luke Whitehead. Mikko Raskinen from VXE Racing Team is 8th, ahead of Max Coates. And good old Rich Hayden from the Virtual Reality Racing Club himself is rounding out the top 10 on 293 points. We do now have 2 new drivers with us this evening. We have a new addition, who is a real-life racer over in Ireland, is Tony Gallagher, who will be running in the 505 Honda Civic. Tony will run with 60 kilos of ballast and replacing Chris Smiley, who has other engagements. Recently, coming off the back of 2 top 10 finishes at the opening round of the rescheduled 2020 Mini Challenge UK at Donington Park past weekend, Callum Newsham running in the number 16. And I'm really excited. Another couple of real-life races here, Martin. And as the MSL Motorsport Consultancy advert said, from virtual to reality. And we're seeing the reverse of that here tonight, once again, at Sepang.
Yeah, welcome to them both. Welcome to this great series. We're just seeing the visuals of this circuit that some of these bends are obscene and technical, quick, very, very interesting place to be. And yeah, let's see how these boys get on. There were some early signs that the new boys to the series took to this circuit.
Indeed. Well, very shortly. Yeah, very shortly. We'll be getting underway with qualifying for round 7 here at Sepang. We'll be back in just a moment's time. So, some very tepid conditions, not hot conditions here at the Sepang International Circuit. 15 degrees air temperature and 17 degrees track temperature. We are now underway with our 20-minute qualification session here at this fantastic facility. Now, it is very technical in parts, but I think Martin very well hit the nail on the head that at this circuit, the drivers that will have, like Senna Proctor, 150 kilos, Jack McIntyre 140 kilos success ballast, Dave Marshall on 130, and Alex Toth-Jones won't be impeded this much so on this particular circuit because it's a lot wider. We're going to see a lot more, I think, probably, I'm fearing, Martin, we might see some maybe even 4 wide action going into some of the turns around here, and that is rather an exciting prospect this very evening.
Oh, I hope so. That should be. They've got no excuse here. There's lots of room, and we've seen some great racing in F1 motorbikes. It's interesting that the Malaysian people seem to like the motorbikes more than the F1, and the reason for the demise of this circuit from the F1 calendar was literally the lack of attendance. Okay, it did get expensive. They didn't like Bernie's bill. Bernie was quite disparaging towards the circuit at one stage. He did say it was like an old building that needs a lick of paint. and they took exception to it. But you drive around Kuala Lumpur at your peril because they're all on the motorbikes giving it loads. So it's no wonder. But here we go. I think that this is going to be quite interesting.
Yes, indeed. They're starting to get their hot laps underway, and at the moment, Andy Mellors in the 92 goes initially top, the 2-minute 19.388. Isaac Smith is on a 2-minute 21.298. So in comparison with the Formula One car, these touring cars are well over 40 seconds slower at this particular moment. So this is going to be quite interesting because we have got some drivers not yet heading out onto the circuit. Now, we've seen it before, and I'm sure that we're going to see the luck of the Yorkshireman reappear very, very soon as we've got a yellow flag out there. As Max Coates again, he's been very, very busy as of late. He's been racing himself this past weekend. He got a podium, I think, if memory serves me correctly. Can't remember exactly what step on the podium that Max got, but I'm sure that he'll be able to tell me at some point in the not too distant future. But we've seen it before where some drivers have come in and absolutely nailed it in qualifying, and then they've gone on to do really good things in the race, Martin. And this is a circuit where that can happen. The unpredictability of Sepang, weather conditions can change. We've seen major, if anyone remembers 2009, when the race was pretty much rained off and everyone started sliding down the hill off of the spectator stands on that particular season. And that was a sight I've never seen at a Formula One race until that particular point. And such a great place such as Malaysia was able to provide us with such a spectacle from the fans, let alone the racing drivers. Yeah,
they started to resurface it and work on the drainage to deal with the monsoon. Why they didn't just change the date, not in monsoon season, I'd never quite worked that one out, but that's probably too practical. But this surface is very abrasive, very grippy, and tyre degradation will be an issue in the race. And I think they've worked out that in qualifying as well, because there's not a lot of traffic. They're not really pushing, not in any great hurry. Just we're seeing some sighter laps here. Max Bird's quickest at the moment. Kessler's not far behind. And the rest are really playing with it. So let's see.
So Max Bird leads, qualifying at the moment with 14 minutes and 9 seconds to go on the clock. 2 minutes 12.461. Then it's the returning Austrian, Konstantin Kletzer, in the number 43 Volkswagen in second place, just 0.161 adrift. Then it is our newcomer, Callum Newsham, instead, replacing Chris Smiley in the number, and he's running the number 16. He's only just under 4.5 tenths of a second off. Then it's Rob Butler in the 74. And we've got Luke Whitehead in the 21 running out the top 5, all covered by 1.125 seconds. And I'm seeing through this side of things here, Martin, that the top 22 have already made it out onto the circuit. But then the 23rd driver yet to make an appearance out on the circuit, as Gobby Leakins is chasing Max Bird in order to get a really good slipstream. And that's one of the other things here as well, because if you get the slipstream here, it's going to be worth quite a substantial amount of time. I think probably the best part of half a second, maybe even more if you're lucky.
Yeah, well, there's 2 long straights and a load of twisty bits, which is quite good for that. I think that my favourite part of the circuit is certainly from turn 9, which is unpronounceable, through to turn 14, and that is stonkingly quick and brave. Flat out corner at turn 12, which is really high speed. There's going to be a lot of overtaking opportunities later on in this race when the tyres start going.
Yeah, I very much agree with you there, because one of the things, for those that don't know, that they actually they re-tarmacked the entire surface of the Sepang International Circuit back in 2016 to try and help things out. And as Raskinen now goes P9. I think at the end of the day, you're very, very right there, Martin, because with a track like this, you're not only going to possibly overcook your tyres quite easily, especially if you get it wrong. You hit a curb wrong, it will throw the car off of the path of the racing line, and from that, the sidewalls will then get impeded, they'll be compromised, then all of a sudden, the 4 contact patches on the tarmac are going to be sliding left and right as the car's trying to keep the traction going through the corners, and then also overcooking the brakes. I mean, that's another key point. You know, you brake late, you don't make the corner, you're going to be on that brake pedal like a good one, trying to stop the car in time for the corner, and then all of a sudden, you just straight line. Here's James West, aka Gamer Muscle, back with us after not being able to attend last time out at the Snetterton 300 circuit. And I'm really going to be interested to see how the Alfa Romeos do around here, Martin, because let's not forget that James West, back at the second race at Barcelona, actually took a podium. He took P2 behind Senna Proctor, who that week did the clean sweep and did a number on everybody.
Yeah, it's great to see Alphas go well in any condition. Beautiful cars, love them to bits. And just a point on the gaming world. I did notice over the weekend with the British GT Championship that the championship, or the top gamer in the world, James Baldwin, made a debut with Jenson Button's team and won it.
In the McLaren 720 SGT3 Team Rocket RJN, who were very much involved with GT Academy that was run by Darren Cox when Darren was back at Nismo as the head of the motorsports department, when Andy Palmer was in charge of Nissan in some respects, before moving on to Aston Martin. And obviously Dr. Palmer has now moved on, and with obviously everything that's happening at the brand itself. But yeah, I mean, now we've just had another change, as in someone has gone quicker, and that is Max Bird. He's just put in a 2-minute 12.159, 0.463 of a second ahead of Austria's Konstantin Kletzer. And there is Callum Newsham, who's he's only 7.5 tenths off, and that's a pretty impressive run so far in this qualifying session. We've got just over 9.25 minutes to go here, Martin. And I think that Max Bird, okay, let's not forget, he joined the championship late. He stood in for Max Coates on one particular round because he was Max was at Brands Hatch doing driver coaching, and already he's netted an average of 71 points over the last 2 rounds, and now he's got an opportunity of possibly going for, I think, if we do get a 10th different winner out of 14 races, and the 10th driver does exactly what the previous 3 drivers have done, that is really going to change things quite considerably.
Yeah, you can't complain with that, can you? Max has taken to it like a duck to water, so to speak, and that was no sort of tongue-in-cheek bird analogy or anything like that. But he really is enjoying himself, and he's a good peddler. He top lad as well. I'm just, Callum Dewson, I'm really impressed with how he's taken to it as well. But the look behind, the normal names, they're all there, and second behind, which it's not a lot on a long circuit like this, but it will mount up on a race.
Very, very true indeed. So just under 8 minutes to go, and looks like Senna Proctor is now rounding out the top 11, and Tony Gallagher now is just behind Senna Proctor by about 8 1/1000ths of a second. Alex Toth-Jones 13th, I think. Well, Max Coates has just gone P18 on a 2-minute 15.715. Max at the moment has got ballast. He's got 70 kilos on that Honda Civic this time around. So he scored 118 points on round 5 back at Brands Hatch when he did the clean sweep, and then round 6 at Snetterton. Still a pretty respectable result. So I think he was the second highest point scorer in that round with 88 points. So even with having missed the rounds at both Monza and Barcelona, Max Coates still, I think, has got an opportunity of getting somewhere towards the top 5 by the end of this season, as there is Dave Marshall now third in the standings, just 6 points behind points leader at Senna Proctor. Jack McIntyre is in the second position in the standings on 385 at the moment. But these three, so Marshall will have 130 kilos, McIntyre 140, and Senna Proctor has the family on board the Hyundai i30 from MSL Motorsport Consultancy at this moment in time. And at the minute, he's still P12, but as they say, Martin, times for show, points are to go.
Yeah, it's showing. If you look at the gaggle in the middle, they're all carrying a bit of weight there. Richie Hayden, he's sneaked up into the top 10 again. He was trying to say that he wasn't on the pace this weekend, but he's probably put a lot of work into this. There's no doubt about that. He's not that he's competitive at all.
Well, he said to us earlier on before we came on air, he said, I might be about 1.36 seconds off the pace. He's currently 2.321 seconds off the pace if you want to be pedantic, but that's a good effort though. I mean, Rich did sort of not really give anything away in terms of sandbagging when he came to when we went to Monza, and he took a win in the first race, put it on pole, and then took a third place in the reverse grid at Monza. As Alex Toth-Jones now decides to go into the pits with just over 5.5 minutes remaining, and someone has just taken out one of the bollards on the entrance to the pit lane. Or was that one of the boards? Hopefully that wasn't a DRS board or anything like that, as we've seen in FIA Formula 3. Just mention the words Oscar Piastri, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about.
Sounds like a pianist.
I know. But when you think about it, talking about racing drivers who are pianists, Elio De Angelis, before his untimely passing, was very well versed on his piano skills.
I did have the pleasure of knowing him, sadly, and we were there when he passed away at Ricard, which was very sad. Anyway, moving on to the to qualify. There's a few people popping into the pits. Last adjustments. It is a long lap, and you do have to get out pretty sharpish if you're going to have one last run at it. Somebody's gone wide there.
That was John Cole in the 302. Currently rounding out the top 20, 2.7 seconds off of the pace. There is Rich Hayden. He's now down in 12th, as both Harry Omerod and one of our newcomers, Tony Gallagher, now complete the top 11 positions. So Rich, if he wants to get to 1.6, he's going to have to find at least another 7/10 of a second.
Yeah, he's gone missing a bit on this session, because I think if you look at the lads at the top there, we didn't really see this sort of pace from the top three straight out of the box. Brilliant. I think Mellors is probably where I expected everybody to be, but good on them.
Indeed. So at the moment, top 5 with 3.5 minutes remaining. Max Bird leading the way in qualifying ahead of Konstantin Kletzer. Then we got Callum Newsham. Then Andy Mellors and Rob Butler rounding out the top 5, covered by just 1.322 seconds. Good job by Kobe Leakins and the number 40 for the leading Alfa Romeo at the moment, whereas James West at the moment is down in 22nd position with a 2-minute 18.073. There is Andy Carroll in the 95. He's ahead of Kenny Press, and Kenny was unfortunately, Martin, last time out he was denied of a potential podium last time out at Snetterton 300. And I'm hoping that the sole Peugeot entrant into the VRRC Touring Car eSeries has an opportunity to maybe get a podium. And when you consider we still have 8 races of this season still left to go.
Yeah, I think the carnage at Snetterton it wasn't kind to a lot of people, that's for sure.
Yeah, especially when they were going through the bomb hole and into Coram and then into Murray's. I mean, that was we saw plenty of contretemps, let's say. But I always like the variety. As they say, the variety is the spice of life. Pretty much like the circuits that we've had all season, and the last 3 that we've got couldn't be more different from each other than you tried.
No, it's just we've gone from classic English circuits to the Tilk era. And they were specifically designed for Formula One to try and make it interesting with overtaking. And typical Formula One, the cars developed so quickly that they became too quick to overtake on what is a very wide circuit. So we're still looking at people diving in, and I do love the late break.
Yeah, we'll see who's going to be brave enough to put in the old Daniel Ricciardo-esque manoeuvres here at Sepang, because obviously there was the British Grand Prix this past weekend. Just over 70 seconds to go on the clock. There is Alex Toth-Jones still sitting in around 15th position on a 2-minute 14.588. There's Isaac Smith, who's just outside of the top 15, down in 16th position. And we still have people trying to improve. Raskinen, P12 now on a 2-minute 14.170. John Cole, well, actually, as I say that, got the number 13 of Derek in now to 13th position on a 2-minute 14.250. And the whole field, I mean, Paul Laramie doesn't look to have had the best of runs there, as Harry Omarov runs a bit wide. So Paul Laramie on a best lap from him in the Audi, a 2-minute 51.898. As Toth-Jones goes P13 on that last attempt. So this will give the youngster in the Porsche Sprint Challenge GB, who I understand, Martin, is going to be out back on track very, very soon, isn't he?
Yeah, we're out with him at Donington 15th, 16th. So looking forward to that. A couple of good days testing beforehand. He's down doing a bit of a fitness boot camp here, and he's hungry for it, which is great.
So the session is now completed. 20 minutes have expired. There's Andy Derrick from in the number 13 Volkswagen Golf. Loving some of the liveries on these cars as well. So in many respects, the amount of colourful, especially in Asia, when you look at the Macau Grand Prix, the amount of colour that you see, the amount of chrome, bright pinks, bright greens, bright oranges, bright yellows. It's all like everything could glow in the dark. And Andy Derrick's livery there with those flashes of fluorescent green. Oh, as I say that, that was not the move that Andy Derrick wanted to do there. As his Kobe-Leakins still in 7th position. So some of the drivers still trying to get their themselves up the order, but a lot of drivers opting to go into the pits.
I tell you, any motorsport fan in times that are safer than these, you've got to get out to Macau, and the Macau Grand Prix is just special. It's bonkers.
I had a really good conversation with Andy Prio and Jonathan Ledyard on a bus when DTM returned to Brands Hatch. We all went on a double-decker bus, and I'll never forget when Andy started. He said, "Oh, I know that pub. Let's stop for a pint." And it was like it was just one of those brilliant moments where it just showed the character. That shows the character of the man from Guernsey, a top bloke, Andy Prio. And obviously, Macau was where he won his 3rd WTCC title back with Team RBM. So Jack McIntyre about to cross the line. He is currently all the way down in 19th position. But with having 140 kilos of ballast, he does not improve as Kobe-Leakins calls it a day and goes into the pits. But looks like Max Bird has become our latest pole sitter in the Virtual Reality Racing Club Touring Car eSeries, brought to you in association with MSL Motorsport Consultancy and heatingshop.ie. Big thank you also to Simply Race, providing our fantastic broadcast. But Martin, just having a look at the timesheets, and the top 20 rounded off by Max Coates, covered by 2.648 seconds. But then you look at the top 7, they're covered by just over 1.3 seconds. It's been quite an interesting dynamic this time around from going to a very aggressive, short, sharp, punchy circuit to something that you've got to have a bit more finesse about because of the wider side of the wider parts of the track, but also the straight line speed. And if you've got a lighter car, okay, the ballast hasn't helped some of the drivers, but it's helped others.
Yeah, I'm really really intrigued by the split on this. Well done, Max Bird. That's a great pole position, and you've thoroughly deserved. You've put the effort in, obviously, to learn this circuit, because it is a technical circuit. And I think Lewis Hamilton actually said he actually likes the place, which is quite interesting. Well, it's this very special place. It's not a stop-start circuit; it's a flowing circuit, high speed, which gets you to learn about the car from one corner to another. So I think that was his quote or something like that. But yeah, for him to like it, it's amazing. Nice one, Max. It just shows the people with the weight on board. They're in a race for a championship, and this ballast thing, as cruel as it may sound, has kept it very interesting for us all.
It has, and some people, I mean, I remember when I was working in the DCM paddock, and remember when Gerhard Berger famously got rid of success ballast because all the manufacturers had complained, and obviously it was a big talking point. And I remember the first race after that, I can't remember when it was, but it's definitely in the last couple of seasons, and it was just an absolute howitzer. But like you say, these drivers are coming to a championship where the ballast does make the difference, and it is a marathon, not a sprint, here at Sepang. And then obviously we've got Shanghai, Bathurst, and then Circuit of the Americas to round out the season.
Three great circuits to round out the season. The only one I've not been to is Bathurst, which I kicked myself. I got an invitation many years ago to go out. I should have gone. Right, here we go.
Okay, looks like we might have a couple more minutes before we go racing. It's a 20-minute race. So we've got a 20-minute race ahead of us. The ballast for all competitors, if they are loaded with ballast, are newcomers. Newsham and Gallagher will have 60 kilos on board, and but the one thing that I've been looking forward to is the latter part of the season, Martin, because this track is really going to separate, and I'm going to use this term. It's going to separate the men from the boys. It's going to be about those that really, really need to go for it. And when you have, I'm just looking at it now, that the top three are covered by just 6 points. You've then got a further 33 points back to Alex Toth-Jones. Isaac Smith, further 5 points behind in 5th place. You know, Rob Butler's not out of this. Neither is Luke Whitehead. Mikko Salminen, Max Coates, you could even throw as an outside chance into possibly going for this title. I mean, there's still a lot of points on offer, and Sepang is really going to be I think the place where we're going to see the real contenders come forward, because a lot of people have been making mistakes, unforced or otherwise, or they've been the unwilling recipients of an accident that they didn't really want to be a part of. And now here is the opportunity for them to shine and to say, right, I'm going to take one step forward and I'm going to bring myself in as a title contender.
Exactly, Alex. And look where the championship protagonists are. They're right in the middle of the danger pack.
And we know what happens normally when you're in the middle of the pack and you go lights out. Anything can happen. So we've got about 90 seconds until the race gets underway. But to see some drivers really, really mixing it up, and I think we're going to have a cracker here, aren't we, Martin?
Definitely. I think it could be the front two will disappear off. Tyre management is important, brake management. We tend to get this. We tend to get the front two or the front person disappear, and they don't. Unless they make a mistake, it's fairly difficult to catch them, because the others hold themselves up, squabbling in the middle.
Mm-hmm. It is a fairly long lap here, but that's what's going to make it even more interesting. You know, there'll be more drivers trying to use the toe, and I think that's where the key factor is that if the drivers that are light enough can get behind cars that can that can punch through that dirty air. The driver behind is not going to have to use as much brake. Well, they're going to have to use a bit more brake. They're going to be faster, but they're going to be using less tyre. They're going to be using less throttle, which gives them an opportunity at a slingshot overtake, as we are literally seconds away from getting things going here. But it's going to be interesting here, isn't it, Martin?
Yep. The first corner, traditionally in Formula One, has been a little bit chaotic because it does double back on itself. And here we go.
Off and into the circuit at Sepang International we head, as they've now filtered their way. It is nearly 3 abreast at some points, but Max Bird gets a great start. Konstantin Kletzer into second place. Callum Newsham. Oh, now Rob Butler looking racy around the outside. Oh, Kletzer's into the side of Kletzer into turn 1, and the Austrian manages to hang on. And there's more drama because it looks like Rob Butler just got punted from behind in the meantime. And there is Mikko Raskinen amongst other people, but as they all are trying to make their way through, that was very, very lucky indeed for both Kletzer and also for Butler in the process. But Max Bird now having a really good opportunity to get away, whilst Newsham's trying to force it up the inside of Kletzer. Mellor's up into 4th, Butler down to 5th, Whitehead, Uskinen, Leekins, Press and Carroll. Senna Proctor already up past Gallagher up into P11. Alex Toth-Jones has gone up to P20. Max Coates, in the meantime, up to 17th. 18 minutes, 57 seconds plus a lap to go here at Sepang. And we were going to have some moments, and I think that I've just seen Gallagher go a little bit wide coming out of one of the corners. As, bit of argy-bargy there between Smith and Omerod there for position. Smith manages to get past into what is 14th position. Newsham going up the inside of Konstantin Kletzer. That's a great move.
Great move.
Brilliant move from the number 16. Up into second place, but watch out for Andy Mellors. He's looking to get behind Konstantin Kletzer. And on the next corner, he might be able to sweep up the inside if Kletzer makes a mistake. And Kletzer doesn't really give him enough room to get through. However, Mellors has other ideas, switching back towards the other side, but he won't get a chance this time around.
Yeah, not at this part of the circuit, but the fun bit's coming up. Oh, look at the closing there.
Butler's up the inside of Mellors, and there was a lock-up from Kletzer going through that corner too. Luke Whitehead, our winner of all the points, like literally a maximum score. He is now well and truly into this, and he said, I'm looking forward to Sepang last time out. Well, he's now in the thick of the action, and he's trying to go up the inside. 3 wide into the final corner. Luke Whitehead trying to go up the inside of Rob Butler, and is he going to make that? He has. That's a brilliant job there. A little bit of rubbings racing, as they say in Days of Thunder. But Luke Whitehead got an absolute brilliant launch coming through that corner and got the slipstream off of Butler, but Mellors towards the outside. Kenny Press now going side by side with Mikko Raskinen, as Press could get the run if he powers past and late breaks through around the outside into the first corner. He's going to go for the switchback.
He's got the line.
Now Smith getting Whitehead getting really pressurised by Butler and by Mellors. Raskinen now factoring into this too, as Whitehead keeps it ahead of the number 74 Honda Civic at the moment, but Butler still resurgent. As Mellors goes towards the inside of Butler, the two nearly tangle going into the next corner. Up the inside, Mellors can't go through. Raskinen trying to fend off Leekins. Kenny Press down a position, and Senna Proctor is quite quickly closing on to the battling few ahead. But it's never easy, as Senna Proctor in the meantime has actually dropped down a couple of positions as I say that. And he's dropped down to P15. Leekins runs wide that particular time, and that allows Press to stay ahead for the minute.
I think it just shows you how wide this place is. It's like the M25.
Well, at least it's actually rolling quite fast, unlike the M25 at most times. As most people call it, the biggest car park in the United Kingdom, when it is at a standstill at most junctions, and I've had my fair share. So Senna Proctor coming under fire from Harry Omerod, and also just behind is the Audi of Rich Hayden in the number 50. Jack McIntyre and Alex Toth-Jones rounding out the this battling, this youthful warring rabble of individuals. And that was very, very close there for Jack McIntyre, who nearly went into the back. A little bit of touching there between Proctor and Omerod. Omerod touching the left rear as he's just absolutely nerfed him off. No more drama. That was huge.
That was huge.
Omerod, and I think that was Alex Toth-Jones that got caught out. No.
dear. I tell you, when Harry's about, there's never a dull television picture.
Watch out, Harry's about. As Max Bird. Sorry, I just had to do a take on good old Beatles about from back in the day. I grew up with that kind of stuff. You Bet with Bruce Forsyth, Strike It Lucky, amongst other game shows as well back in the day when game shows were game shows. The Generation Game with Jim Davidson.
I was going to say, be careful, other television presenters are available.
Yes, exactly. But at the moment, Max Bird's still leading the way. He's well over 5 seconds ahead of Callum Newsham, who's done a stellar job at the moment. And there he is just now, Luke Whitehead, trying to close down. And as, little bit of a tussle there between Konstantin Kletzer and Rob Butler. And that has forced the Austrian to get wide. Go wide. That has allowed Mikko Raskinen, Kobe Leakins, Kenny pressed around the outside. Konstantin Kletzer as he made that. Oh no, the Peugeot goes rally crossing into the kitty litter goes Kenny Press.
That's another big one.
Oh, and Kletzer's been clattered into. Oh no. Oh, it's just as Kenny Press now managed.
I think he rolled it.
Yeah, well, he got hit from the side. And I think that was Max Coates that was involved in that. So the order is just completely changed at the minute. So at the moment, the top 10. Oh, Rich Hayden, stop getting your nose stuck in there. Oh, Senna Proctor barges James West out the way. Oh, no.
Is there going to be anybody left in this race?
I think the clerk of the course is going to have a very busy night, let alone a race 2. We're having this in race 1. Oh, my goodness me. As Rich Hayden and Senna Proctor battling over 10th position like their lives depended on it. Proctor ahead for the moment. The number 50 Audi trying to close through the sweeping corners. But Jack McIntyre has kept his nose fairly clean here, Martin. And he's now up into 12th position.
Yeah, it's good. The clerk of the course is actually turned poacher on us when he is the gamekeeper. So this is quite interesting.
Yes, very much the case. As Kobe Leakins nearly gets set. I think it was either going to be one of two things. Either he was going to be sent off track, or Rob Butler was just going to straight line it into the final corner as James West goes up the inside of Andy Derrick for P12. Kobe Leakins still battling away with Rob Butler. The Alpha's going to have the inside run for the first corner. Butler's trying to keep it planted around the outside. If he keeps that going, he's going to have the inside run for the next corner. As there's Jack. There you go.
Exactly it, but they're going to touch. No,
that was Andy Mellors up the inside for Callum Newsham as Luke Whitehead now up into P2 and has got 7.4 seconds to try and close in on Max Bird with in the next 12.5 minutes plus an additional lap. So Leakins now slots in behind Butler for P7. And at the moment, your running order, as long as it doesn't quickly change and no one does any stupid manoeuvres very shortly, it's Bird from Whitehead, Mellors, Newsham, Raskinen, Butler, Leakins, Carroll, Marshall, Hayden, West, Proctor, Derrick, McIntyre, Press, Omerod, Smith, Laramie, Coates, Cole, Konstantin Kletzer has pitted, and looks like we've also got Tony Gallagher rounding out the 21 that are still, and that is an instant DNF. I think Kletzer not happy. Up the inside goes Newsham on Mellors. Oh, that was brilliantly done there.
Absolutely sent it.
I'm sure that Daniel Ricciardo would have definitely given the lick the stamp and send it approval on that one, because that was an absolute belter into one of the tightest points in the I think that was the Barriere Tioman corner there, according to the map that I've got in front of me. I'm not going to try and pronounce these names. I mean,
I was going to say that was easy for you to say.
Yeah, I think that could have been very much a Freudian slip on my part as well, maybe, but who knows? I'm not going to try that one again.
Well, after your corner in Snetterton, that's not so bad.
Yeah, exactly. It's just quite entertaining when you just see all these different name pronunciations and stuff like that, and someone goes, no, you don't say it like that, you say it like this. Oh, really? Okay, fine, I've been educated. Here endeth the lesson. 10 minutes and 50 to go plus an additional lap, and Newsham now fighting back at Luke Whitehead heading into turn 1. And nicely done there by the number 16. A little bit of a lock up there, and you can just see that Newsham trying to force his way through, trying to make a gap appear through an unforced error from Luke Whitehead. But Whitehead is doing a very good defensive job. But in the meantime, Martin, this is allowing Max Bird to get away, and he's got a gap of nearly 9 seconds over Luke Whitehead as we are now on to lap number 6.
I think we've seen this at every race. If you get clear and the others are squabbling, you're gone. And then it's just down to, we've got 10 minutes to go plus a lap. It's down to the management of your head and your equipment. It's so easy to just keep going flat out, trying to push and break the people, but that's where things go wrong.
Yeah, very, very true. Because it's not just about the physical exertion these drivers are having to contend with, it's also the mental exertion, because you're having to look maybe a corner, maybe a couple of corners, maybe even 3 corners ahead to sort of figure out what your next strategic call is on any particular circuit. And it doesn't matter whether it's tight and twisty, whether it's something like the Green Hell, like the Nordschleife, or somewhere like here at Sepang. If you know that you say, well, the car felt a bit better going on this part of the racing line through turn 3, then I might have a better run on them going through turn 4. So it's all about just sort of micromanaging it all, isn't it?
Absolutely correct. And finding places where you can still be quick but be sympathetic to the machinery, so it doesn't compromise your lap. Oh, this is a great angle. Is he going to send it on the outside and go for the cut back, or is he just going to stuff it down the inside? Here we go.
Right.
He fancies this.
Yep, up to the final corner, up the inside goes Newsham to take second position. And in the meantime,
there's the cutback.
Yep, side by side between the 2 Hyundais. Mellor's waiting in the wings. Raskinen not too far behind. A 2-minute 12.103, the fastest lap for Max Bird, who was leading. Oh, this is going to get dicey. Remember Schumacher and Barrichello when the pair were with Mercedes and Williams respectively a couple of years ago, and I think if memory serves me correctly, that would have been the Hungaroring a few years back. But that was nearly a carbon copy of that, but instead it would have been in a tin top. As now Newsham has now, with 8 minutes and 10 seconds to go, he's got to try to get in touching distance as McIntyre and Proctor battling away over P14. Just behind they've got here's Harry, as in Harry Omrot, just behind them. But Rich Hayden has just got past Kenny Prest for P12.
And Mellis is fancying this now. He's got scent.
Yep, I agree with you there wholeheartedly, Martin. But look, coming to shot, Raskinen's coming into shot now as well, as now McIntyre has just been dropped out. There was a major lock up there. I think that might have been for Luke Whitehead. That is allowing Andy Mellors to close. Now, looking at the times, the last lap from Andy Mellors was a 2-minute 13.592, so that car's got pace. Whilst Newsham and Whitehead are battling, Newsham did a 2-minute 14.055. Luke Whitehead, Piggy in the middle, 2-minute 14.363. So that puts Mellors 0.8 of a second quicker than the car in front. And that is where all the difference has been made by the number 92 in the Teenage Cancer Trust Honda Civic.
Yeah, again, great graphics. Oh, great line. Oh, I love the fact that the circuit there's a few different lines into the circuit corner or the corners because the circuit is so wide, and you can actually think your way around. It is a bit of a game of chess around here, but just ballistically quick.
And quite a big chessboard as well, as things stand with the amount of corners you've got. As here we go, Rob Butler up the inside of Corby Leakins. That is for P6 on the road, but again, Leakins gets the switchback. Mellors towards the outside of Whitehead. This is for third place on the road. And that was just absolutely textbook. Mellors got the run. Look at a little bit of a lock up there from Newsham heading into turn 1. But expertly done, time to perfection by Andy Mellors, up into P3, past Luke Whitehead through into turn number 1.
Yeah, he's been lining it up, and one of your old adages: if you don't see the leader, they're well gone. Max Bird now 12.5 seconds ahead.
Yeah, and that's increasing by the that's millisecond at the moment. So Luke Whitehead has an opportunity in the next 5 minutes and 40 seconds plus an additional lap to try and get another podium. I'm just seeing how many he's gotten so far. He took a third at Paul Ricard Race 2, a third at Monza Race 1, and was second in Race 2 at Monza as James West gets up the inside of Andy Derrick there. And here is Dave Marshall and Kenny Press and also Senna Proctor. Then Luke Whitehead had a drought of 4 races not being on the podium, and then won both races as Press trying to go towards the outside of Marshall. Marshall looking towards the outside of Derrick, and then he's going to thread. If he threads the eye of the needle right now, he's absolutely crazy. As Andy Derrick gets past James West, Marshall behind, and here's Senna Proctor. Tussle with the Peugeot. The pen, and he probably would have gone off there at that particular point in time.
I was just about to say.
Well held, Kenny Press, and
what could possibly go wrong here?
Famous last words for Mr. Jones. But this is great. This is a brilliant battle because Jack McIntyre is now closed on the back bumper of Senna Proctor, and here comes Harry Omrod in the body in white. That's an automotive terminology when the car's just been, all the panels have just been put together and there's no accoutrement or no carpet or anything. So it's a body in white coloured Hyundai i30. But now Kenny Press fancies a charge at Dave Marshall, going to the left and then going to the right as they now head down towards the final corner. And Press still keeping it towards the outside. He's actually slungshot his way past Marshall. That was a great move.
Great move.
But then Dave Marshall is going to get the run coming out of the final corner. He's going to get in the tow. He'll also have assistance through Kobe Leakins up ahead. And even though the Alfa Romeo is a bit far ahead of the Peugeot, it's still going to have that aerodynamic effect, isn't it, Martin? That where that car punches the hole in the dirty air, the other one will do the same, but with the mere fringes of the car in front, and then the other one behind gets a double tow and gets a slack load of speed.
Absolutely, and on these long straights, it's vital, and you're into a braking opportunity, which is what a lot of these drivers do. And well, if they're not practicing, they should be practicing how to be a Ricardo on the brakes.
Agreed. So Andy Mellors trying to close in on Callum Newsham for second position. Max Bird, in the meantime, he's got the fastest lap of the race. I don't think anyone's going to touch that at 2 minutes 12.008. Bit of a lock up there by Newsham going through into Tioman Corner as James West looking towards the inside of Kenny Press there. This is for 10th position, but the Peugeot stays ahead for the moment. Marshall and Proctor just behind the Alfa Romeo as Proctor goes towards the right, Marshall towards the left as they go into the hairpin. A little bit of a lock up there again. I think that was from the Alfa Romeo of James West as they come through. Again, it's just like, how many times do you dare outbrake yourself on that particular corner, Martin? Because that looks menacing, because you've got a hefty braking zone and then you've got to literally put full steering lock on, power up a slight incline and make sure that you get out of the corner correctly.
Correct, and that's a beautiful part of the circuit because it takes you into a really high speed part and then into a slow entrance into the long straight. So you've got to, it's about momentum in that bit. This is where, here we go, on the brakes. Who's going to be the late breaker?
Senna Proctor by the looks of it.
Slingshot maybe. No, he's disappeared.
Now Andy Derrick has just pitted. Andy Derrick has just pitted from what would have been 10th position, as Senna Proctor now trying to go side by side with Jack McIntyre and has done so. Or is that Dave Marshall who's alongside? No, that's Marshall. Oh, that's going to be brave if Proctor keeps it planted around the outside as Omrod clatters into the side of McIntyre there.
Hello, Harry.
Oh, God, dear. That's going to be a running joke for the rest of the season now, Martin, you realise. It's like, here's Harry.
Absolutely.
But, yeah, we're in as much fun as this race has been. It's as soon as it started, it very quickly is coming to its eventual conclusion. We have 50 seconds on the clock plus an additional lap. And as Martin said, one of the old adages I normally use, if the leader's doing a great job, well, if you're not talking about the leader's doing a great job. 17.3 seconds lead as Max Bird over Callum Newsham, and Andy Mellors running at the top 3. But Mellors, I think, smells a little bit of blood in the water, because he still has a chance to get past Callum Newsham if the opportunity presents itself. As again, another lock up there from Newsham. And I've just seen that is Carroll and Leakins battling over what is 7th position. Carroll to the outside, trying to get the run for the inside. That's nicely done with the Cupra, but look at Leakins just trying to keep it powered out, keeping it powered around the outside as we get the first of the sub 2-minute 12s by Max Bird, a 2-minute 11.994. The timer has expired. Next time around, we should get the final lap board. But that was well presented by Kobe Leakins there around the outside of Andy Carroll there, Martin. A brilliant manoeuvre that you can see in a tin top, but not necessarily see in a Formula One car.
No, that was a Raikkonen sort of Hakkinen move. That's great.
So there we have it. These two still battling away. I think this is going to go down to the wire as more drivers trying to battle tooth and nail. Senna Proctor up to P12, trying to chase down Dave Marshall. So it is two of the... Well, it's quite funny, though. You look at it this way. Dave Marshall, who's 3rd in the standings, is ahead of Senna Proctor, who's leading the standings, as Mellors still trying to get his way past Newsham. And then you've got McIntyre, who's 2nd in the standings, all literally within a fraction of a second of each other, as these two not giving up until the checkered flag. And this is a great part of the circuit here, Martin, isn't it?
It's so flowing and it's very technical. It's all about momentum, picking a right line. Oh, there's more going on. This has been great right from start to finish. Not that we've had a bad race in this series so far, but this is quite interesting with the little pockets going on. Championship, you've got race win, but then you've got the middle field, then you've got the championship contenders. They're all going for it. Good on them.
Senna Proctor making a really clean move up the inside of Dave Marshall. I think that might be Jack McIntyre's just got past. Oh, the top 3 line is turning their actual championship positions. However, it's not for the lead of the race. It's for P11, 12 and 13 respectively. Harry Omerod factoring an opportunity that he might be able to say, well, you know what? I passed one of the top 3 in the standings. That's a good thing to sort of have in the back of your mind, to have a bit of a confidence boost. If you say, well, I'm finding it difficult to get past, and they go, and then you're in a mind go, you're in a conscience says, remember that when you overtook that person at Sepang?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So final lap board out. So Max Bird. Oh right.
He was carrying so much speed there. I thought he was going to stuff it up the inside, so to speak.
Yeah, but Senna Proctor still keeping Jack McIntyre at the bay for the moment.
Yeah.
And Mellors trying to go towards the outside of Newsham. This is going to get dicey. If Mellors gets cut... Oh, there's a little bit of a lock-up there from Newsham going through turn 1.
No, he's kept it really tight there. That's a clever bit of driving there. But he's got a great pedigree, Callum Newsham.
So Proctor and McIntyre, as Kenny Press sets his personal best lap of the race. These two are still battling over 11th position. And this is, as you said, this is about the championship. This is nothing about whether you win or lose. It's about whether you can keep ahead of your opponents.
Look out. Here we go.
Oh, onto the final lap, through into turns 1 and 2, as Newsham and Mellors a little bit further down the circuit. I think they're going through Genting Curve.
See, the trouble is you can't make your car that wide because the place is that wide.
Yeah, Mellors is trying to get up the inside through the clear curve and up into the next corner, but oh my goodness, Mellors senses that he might be able to get rid of the fly in the ointment, and that fly is Callum Newsham, who goes very late breaking into the hairpin. But Mellors gets a better run coming out of the corner. He's going towards the outside. And is the Honda Civic going to have the power to get round? Not quite. Newsham keeps it planted on the inside, but then Mellors goes for the switchback into the next corner. The pair in the inside line. Yeah, he's going to get the inside line if he's brave enough. But I think that Newsham had the run on there and knew exactly where to plant the car at the right point.
And here we go. It's just a sprint down to the down the long straight. Oh, it's going to be late on the brakes here.
But in the meantime, a pole position, a fastest lap, and race 1 victory goes to Max Bird in the 71. But it is through the final corner. The other two battling for second and third. So Newsham ahead of Mellors. Mellors will jink out to the left, and he's going to try and get the run. And I don't think he's going to get it. Is he going to get it? It's going to be close. But then Whitehead leading what is an absolute swarm of cars heading down towards the final corner.
Oh, look out.
I know, that's Proctor. That's Proctor. West, Omerod up the inside of Marshall. This could get very dicey as West sends it up the inside into the hairpin for the final time. And he's taken the curve. He's gone really tight on the apex there. But Senna Proctor is going to hang on to 10th position as Omerod beats McIntyre and Marshall to the line. That's a bit of a swing in terms of the championship dynamic.
That's a bit of a messy one for the championship.
I don't want to work out. I'm glad I don't have to work out the permutations for that one on the point standings. Thank you very much.
And a bit of a love tap afterwards between the two of them. Oh dear.
No love lost there. This is definitely not Valentine's night, I can tell you that much. But we have a top 3. Our race 1 winner at Sepang, who becomes our 10th different winner in 13 races, is Max Bird in the 71. Great job by Callum Newsham. Yeah.
You can't beat a hack. Pole position, fastest lap, race win. Thank you very much.
Yes. So I will be heading down to interview the drivers very, very shortly. But rounding out the top 3. Oh, McIntyre goes off the circuit in the meantime.
Was that a little bit of afters, or was that just brain fade?
I'm not too sure. That might have been the desserts, and it was definitely a heavy chocolate brownie that was thrown in Jack McIntyre's general direction. But Max Bird takes the win ahead of Callum Newsham and Andy Mellors, who round out the top 3. Luke Whitehead takes 4th ahead of Andy Carroll, and you've got Rob Butler. But I'm now going to head down to interview some drivers, so I will be back with you, Martin, in just a moment. But our 10th different winner from 13 different races, finally on the top step of the podium. Congratulations, Max Bird. Well done.
Yeah, cheers. I mean, it wasn't the hardest of races, obviously, but yeah, finally on the top step.
Now, we've had 3 drivers do pole position, fastest lap in race 1, and fastest lap in race 2. You're now the 4th driver in a row to do that. How are you feeling ahead of the second race in just a few moments' time?
Yeah, no, I'm feeling good, but I'm actually quite looking forward to it, to be honest. Obviously, I get to do some overtaking now. And yeah, hopefully try and get another fastest lap.
Indeed. Well done, Max. All the very best of luck for race 2. And let's see how you get on.
Thank you.
Right, so we will try, if we can, to maybe speak to... Well, if we can speak to any of other drivers. So we've got Callum Newsham and Andy Mellors, who are our top 3. Excuse me. So, Andy Mellors, P3 in the race. Congratulations.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm well chuffed with that. After a string of 3 bad results, 2 weeks racing in a caravan on a bodged together rig, and then last week was just awful.
Mm-hmm. But obviously this fills you with a lot of motivation and confidence for the race coming up very shortly. You know, this is your first appearance on the podium, and it's been a tough road. This season hasn't been easy, has it? No,
not at all. It's definitely a lot easier without the ballast, I'll say that. Like I say, the 3 bad results in a row have lost me all my ballast, and it's great not having any, but I'm probably going to have some for next week.
I'm sure we'll find out when the standings are revised post this evening's festivities. But Andy Mellors, 3rd place in race 1. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And last but by no means least, our runner-up in race 2, the race 1. Fresh off 2 top 10 finishes at the Mini Challenge UK season opener at Donington Park, Callum Newsham. Callum, well done. some great battles out there between yourself and the likes of Andy Mellors and everyone else. How did you find it out there?
Yeah, it was good. Struggling a bit with the ballast, but I had a good race with Andy there at the end, so I enjoyed it.
Now, obviously, I don't know if you've caught any of our previous race twos, but they do provide a bit of a spice to proceedings. What are your thoughts ahead of that?
Yeah, hopefully it's not going to be carnage, but we'll see what happens. I'll try and make my way through the field. Indeed.
Well, Callum. Oh.
Sorry, Callum is Martin Jones from MSL. Well done there, mate, and welcome to the fold. Great drive tonight. Really enjoying your work there. And you know what? Just get your elbows out in the second race, mate.
Yes, thank you. Will do.
Cheers.
Right. Well, really good to hear from our top three there, Martin. Nice bit of motivation there to Callum saying, "Yep, go on, just get your elbows out." I mean, that's what we normally see in race two, and I'm sure that in the next couple of minutes' time, we are going to probably see exactly the same thing, maybe even more. I mean, there's been quite a lot happen in a race two. I think Rich Hayden is not going to like me for reminding him of this, but obviously Paul Ricard race two. That's all I'm saying, and just ask John Cole as well, bless him. But we've got a couple of minutes to go, just under 2 minutes remaining, and as you can see, Alex Toth-Jones will start from the reverse grid pole because it is pretty much a complete reverse grid as far as I'm aware. But this is where it's really going to get interesting here, ladies and gentlemen, because race two is always the one that you see one person come through the field. We've seen that from Luke Whitehead. We've seen that from Max Coates. We've seen that from Senna Proctor. We've seen that from Isaac Smith as well. So it can show, Martin, that race two, along with the ballast, is very much a championship equaliser in its own right.
That's the beauty of the ballast and the reverse grids. If you didn't have reverse grids, you wouldn't have ballast, I guess. But you saw the racing throughout there. There was something going on all over the place. And from a spectator point of view, from a commentator point of view, and from a racing driver's point of view, you've got to love it. You've got to beat the person that's next to you as a racing driver, and who's in front of you, you want to be the person in front of him. This is going to be a belter. And Alex is in pole position. He had a technical issue, I believe, in the first race, apart from him being punted in the air. But here we go.
Right, just over 30 seconds, and you can just see a lineup of around 22 cars there. It looks like Konstantin Kletzer is not taking part in this race. Whether he's had a technical issue, I'm not too sure. However, it is, and as you can see on the screen, Max Bird starts from 22nd and stone dead last. Just over 10 seconds to go until the lights start to ignite on the gantry. All 6 of them will ignite, and when they go out, they start to come on. 3, 4, 5, 6. We are off
and
away.
We're go. Good start there, Alex.
Yep, and a good start from Isaac Smith, also from Gallagher in the 505 as they all feel that filter their way through into turn one. Alex Toth-Jones will have the inside run on Isaac Smith, who's trying to go, and John Cole is trying to make it 3 wide through turn one. I'm sorry, John, that's not going to go. A little bit of a love tap on the back bumper, and he gets a bit of a biff from behind as Alex Toth-Jones, as they are all 3 abreast coming outside. Oh my goodness, Andy Derrick nearly into the side there of Dave Marshall. Rich Hayden getting his elbow stuck out as Senna Proctor gets sent a bit sideways coming through the first part of the circuit, but oh my goodness me, John Cole keeping it all around. I'm sorry, I'm going to use this term as up the inside of Rob Butler. Max Coates goes John Cole, sends Max Coates running wide. Dave Marshall, Senna Proctor just behind all of this. There is so much flotsam and jetsam when it comes to touring cars that we've got here at Sepang. The race one was just the aperitif, ladies and gentlemen. This is the proper full ball roast dinner main course. And my goodness me, it's got all the trimmings, Yorkshire pudding, gravy, and plenty of action along the way. So now there's Harry Ormerod right up the back bumper. and possibly the exhaust pipes if he's not very much careful of Senna Proctor, currently rounding out the top 8. Andy Derrick is, up the inside goes Rob Butler, up the inside of Harry Omerod there on the hairpin. Nicely done, but Omerod is trying to fight back, and he gave him a little bit of a love tap on the right rear quarter panel as a direct result, as they all filter their way through. But in the meantime, Alex Toth-Jones is leading Isaac Smith by 0.84
contact in the back there. There's a whole gaggle of our reverse grid leaders gone off in the back there. I don't know what went on.
Yeah, Raskin's back down there. Callum Newsham's down there. Cobby Leakins. Paul Laramie up to P2020. And the biggest casualty looks to be Andy Carroll, who drops all the way back down to 22nd position. Meanwhile, Tony Gallagher is trying to go toe-to-toe with Isaac Smith round the outside of the hairpin. The Honda might try and do the long way round cutback here as Dave Marshall's got up the inside of John Cole for P5. Toth-Jones put in the fastest lap of the race at 2 minute 21.918, and Max Bird is already up to 15th position, having started from 22nd. Omerod gets past West for P10. Oh, big lock up there into turn 1. And that was Isaac Smith, who's going to lose out to Max Coates. Max Coates sends it around the outside. The pair clash as Marshall trying to go toe-to-toe with Cole, and Marshall and Cole bumping door panels as well. Oh, this could get very ugly very, very quickly. But in the meantime, Cole keeps the inside run at the moment as Coates swarming all over the back bumper of Smith, heading into the next
they're all
block.
at it, and they connect again under braking. Oh, look at it. It's just great.
As they say, out of the frying pan and well and truly into the fire are both Max Coates and Isaac Smith. Coates goes into the side of the Hyundai, into the sweeping right. Oh my goodness! And John Cole and Dave Marshall are waiting to pick up the scraps on the table. The way this is happening is Alex Toth-Jones now has a 2.6 second lead. John Cole now drops into 8th place. Marshall down to 7th.
You've gone really wide there again.
And they've dropped out of the top 10 as a result of it. So Senna Proctor now up into P5, up the inside of Smith through the hairpin. That's very close. They have a little bit of rubbing there. Smith goes wide as a result of Proctor forcing him off ever so slightly, but it was fair racing because there was a gap. Whether the clerk of the course might decide otherwise is another matter all entirely. As Isaac Smith, James West nearly loses the back end going through the corner in the Alfa Romeo, but manages to keep P10 at the moment. Kenny Press now trying to battle with Harry Omerod, as here comes a really fired up and aggressive Isaac Smith, looking to get retribution in some respects, but maybe do it fairly and cleanly. Oh, he bumps Kenny Press off with absolutely no bad conscience whatsoever. So Press dumped down at the top 10, down to P15 he goes. Make that 16th as John Cole gets past, as does Richard Hayden. Butler now is going to have to try and fight with Senna Proctor, who has got Harry Omerod. And I think, as you said earlier on, Martin, here's Harry.
Here's Harry. Absolutely. He's not shy, is he?
Very true. But in the meantime, Alex Toth-Jones has not got the fastest lap. I'm just having a look here. Andy Mellors has now got the fastest lap in 2 minute 15.523. Max Bird, in the meantime, already up to P9, and he's closing on the pair of Hyundais in the form of Whitehead and Smith, and could very easily get past him with the pace he has in that Honda Civic to get up to what will be 7th position, probably in a couple of laps' time. 14 minutes and 40 seconds to go on the clock. Alex Toth-Jones has a 2.2 second lead ahead of Tony Gallagher in the 505 Honda Civic, as everyone else is just tripping all over each other. But what I'm really not at all surprised about is Callum Newsham trying to keep his nose clean. He's up to 12th. Max Bird has got past Luke Whitehead for P8. So Bird doing a fantastic job, as here comes Andy Derrick up the inside of James West into the corner. Oh, and he goes wide. West manages to avoid him.
They both go through.
Yep, Newsham gets through, but nearly could have actually gone around the outside of James West, but thought better of it. And then they've got Smith and Whitehead battling like a pair of petulant children up ahead. The two black Hyundais with slightly different accents to their liveries. Smith with the blue accents, and Luke Whitehead with the rich energy colours on there. This is absolutely brilliant. We do love these race twos, don't we, Martin? Because they just provide us with twists and tails more times than the never-ending story.
You just don't know where to look because there's something going on all the way through. There's something went on in the background there. Somebody spun off. It's great. Oh God, I love this.
Yes,
and look at that gaggle, and that's all for position, really.
You know what this reminds me of? We were talking on air before everything got underway because I'd just come back from the BNL Karting Series opening round in Karting Genk in Belgium. This exactly reminds me of a senior Rotax competition where you've got 36 karts and no one is giving quarter. And one particular lap, I noticed that the top 30 drivers were covered by 9.8 seconds. And here in Sepang, okay, the gaps are going to be a bit longer between some of the cars, but then you've got the likes of Marshall and McIntyre, third and second in the championship coming into this round here at Sepang respectively, and they are battling over what is 13th place, whereas everyone else is trying to get away. But one of the things I've noticed here, Max Bird has just put in the fastest lap of the race again, a 2 minute 12.7 flat. Oh, John Cole's had drama. John Cole's just had drama there, and he's dropped like a proverbial stone. Toth Jones losing his lead to Gallagher to what is now 1.3 seconds. Max Coates up to third, Butler up to fourth, Omerod up to fifth, past Bird, who's now up into P6. He's gained 16 positions in about the last 7 3/4 minutes. Marshall battling away. He's kept ahead of McIntyre, who's actually been passed by James West in the Gamer Muscle livery. And here is Max Bird up the inside. Oh no! He gets turned around by Harry Omerod.
Oh, here's Harry. Here's Harry again.
Harry's, yeah, come on, Harry. You got to sit on the naughty step and put the dunce hat on, I'm afraid, after that one. That was, I think Max was trying to go around the outside. Harry went, I'm going to shut the door. And he just went, actually, I'm not going to shut the door. You're accidentally going off, mate. Sorry, my bad. But at least the thing is, it's dented pixels, not massive repair bills.
Well, exactly. I wouldn't like to have his repair bills. Anyway, revolving door of motorsport luck. That was a slam dunk in the face.
That would have been a slam dunk in the NBA if I'm very much mistaken, or that could have been a 3-pointer when they shout out from downtown.
Oh dear! Whoops. There's something going on at the front there. Max Coates can't get to Tony Gallagher, and Tony Gallagher's going to be all over Alex Toft Jones very, very shortly. Yeah, half a second quicker. It's the ballast and the tyres.
Yeah, we're fast approaching the halfway point of this second race. Oh, big lock up from Alex Toft Jones there. Oh, luckily enough, he manages to keep it planted ahead of Tony Gallagher, but we go on board with the 505 Honda Civic, currently running in second position, 10 minutes and 25 on the clock, plus an additional lap still to go. And the gap is around about 7/10 of a second. Even though with that lock up there, Martin, Alex Toth Jones managed to keep it nice and composed there. He didn't panic.
No, he locked up but came off straight away, and you can lock up and not lose momentum if you come off quick enough. It's just when you hang on to it and panic.
Yes, very true. And here is Luke Whitehead now battling away with Senna Proctor for P5. Harry Omerod makes it a trio of Hyundais, and then just behind, the recovering Callum Newsham, who's now up into P8. Then it's Andy Derrick and the Volkswagen in 9th place. Then we've got Isaac Smith rounding out the top 10.
As if the circuit's not wide enough, they're making the circuit even wider. That was, I could see what he was trying to do there, and he's right on the tail now. That's actually quite a good climb at about 40 degrees of heat, that one, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, the track and air temperature haven't really changed, virtually speaking, since we went green earlier on for qualifying at the beginning of the broadcast. So still 15 degrees Celsius air temperature, 17 degrees Celsius track temperature, 9 minutes and 8 seconds still to go. And these people are absolutely giving no quarter. Marshall ahead of McIntyre for what is 12th on the road. And there is Andy Mellors, who is now up into P14. Then it's Laskinen, Hayden. So McIntyre still trying to get past the man who, in the initial phase of this championship, He won the inaugural VRRC Touring Car eSeries, which is a 4-week calendar, and now we're doing a 10-week calendar as Gallagher really getting up close and personal on Alex Toth-Jones as they are about to cross the line to complete lap number 6.
Yeah, I think the car and the tyres, the weight's getting to Alex here. It's getting a bit leery coming out the corners now. But he knows what he's doing. He's been a GT racer. Commentators curse, but that was a good recovery again.
No comment. I've done plenty of that in my time. It's all big lock up there. McIntyre looks to be trying to battling away with Marshall once again, and Marshall does not let the door open in any way, shape or form for the 37. He's trying to get past as Raskinen gets past Max Bird, who's back up the inside of the Finnish driver. And that was a real shame because Max Bird was on
here we
course.
go.
Yeah, so this is where it's all going to kick off. McIntyre versus Marshall versus Mellors, who's got past the pair of them.
Great
Mellors
move.
Yeah.
If that sticks, that's a great move.
If he can keep it around the inside of this next left-hand sweeper, he's got it. He's got the job done. Brilliant job there by Andy Mellors, our third-place finisher from race number 1 here at round 7, the Virtual Reality Racing Club Touring Car eSeries. But James West keeping it nice and straight. As oh my goodness me, a little bit wide there for Max Bird again behind Richard Hayden. And then there's Mikko Raskinen. Andy Carroll now up into 18th position. John Cole down to 19th ahead of Paul Laramie, Kobe Leakins and Kenny Press rounding at the 22 drivers that are still on this race so far. 7 minutes to go as now Callum Newsham has just got past Harry Omerod, and the lap times between them, Newsham was running a 2-minute 13.9, Omerod was a 2-minute 14.6. So the Hyundai i30 of the number 16 has, I think, a chance here, because if he closes, he's got 2.2 seconds as up the inside. Now this time goes, I think that was Max Bird up the inside of Dave Marshall. Rich Hayden towards the outside of it as Toth-Jones now is still keeping Gallagher at bay. Max Coates is about 1.4 seconds off of the top 2 at the minute. So
Max is closing in. There's time. Max can certainly make the front very entertaining over the last few laps. Oh, somebody's given up.
That's John Cole in the Bod Racing 302 Honda Civic. He's decided to call it an evening. I think maybe the amount of argy-bargy that he's endured over the past 14 minutes has not really gone down well. It's gone down like a proverbial stone in a pond. It's splashed everywhere. As here's Alex Toth-Jones battling away with Tony Gallagher for the lead.
And look who's catching them. Hand over fist.
Well, not just Max Coates.
He's right up with
Gallagher's trying to centre around the outside of Toth-Jones, who manages to make him run wide. Here comes Max Coates. Rob Butler not too far away from this particular accrochage, as they say in France. 5.5 minutes still to go. And then you can't really factor out Luke Whitehead here, because whilst they're battling away, as we go on board the rear windscreen camera of Tony Gallagher, who's joined us for this round as a newcomer, he's got Max Coates just trying to chase him down. And you can just see how much closer the top 5 will start to concertina here in order for us to possibly have, I think, one of the most interesting grandstand finales. Oh, Gallagher rounds the outside through the hairpin. Toth-Jones goes, no, you don't, sunshine. Gives them, and Max Coates trying to go around the outside. Oh, that's a brilliant move. I think that's the move of the evening from Max Coates as he gets past Tony Gallagher for P2.
Oh, they're all after Gallagher now. Look out.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Gallagher's not going to have the best amount of luck now, because they say that could be that third time's the charm. Third time unlucky, I think, for Tony Gallagher if he's not very much careful, because look at how close Butler and Whitehead are. And then you've got Newsham, Omerod.
Max Coates is loving this.
Yeah, he's now going to go, oh, hello, Alex. How are you, mate? Round to the outside goes Max Coates, and it's nearly 3 abreast. Oh, bit of a nudge there. Oh no, Whitehead loses it.
That's going to take them out.
Oh, now, leading up to that, he actually touched the other side of Butler, and then it sent Whitehead into a spin. Leaders side by side down the main straightaway. Coates ahead by a whisker. He's going to power past Toth-Jones.
Yeah, that's the weight again.
And I think it's also a bit of a strategy call from Alex, because look at it this way. He might have the ballast on there, but he's kept a hold of the lead for, over 15 minutes with that amount of ballast on there. He's fended off the advances of Gallagher, and now he's got to try and battle Max Coates. And they say that it is one thing to gain the lead, it is another thing entirely to keep it. As now, I think that Newsham could really factor in. I mean, let's not forget Newsham took second place in the first race here. So this could be anybody's. Even if Max Coates manages to get away from Toth Jones, and Toth Jones, okay, on the last lap did a 2 minute 17.4. Coates did a 2 minute 15.5. But then you look at Gallagher. Off goes Butler! Off goes Butler, and that was a little bit of a punt there. He did not really want. Butler was battling away, and I'm wondering, was that Whitehead? Because that looked to be a black Hyundai i30 that might have had that happen. I'm not too sure.
And look who's on the tail. Oh, here's Harry coming. He's always going to throw something into this.
Yeah, well, good switchback there by Callum Newsham to go through the inside of the hairpin and actually go around the outside of Gallagher. Just timed the switchback to absolute perfection. Harry Ormerod needs to get on with it if he wants to catch up to Newsham. Now, the thing is that Gallagher was proverbially the cork in the bottle, so to speak. And now that's happened. Look how quickly that Newsham has managed to get away from the 505 Honda. Quite a bit in some comparisons, but then coming under the braking zone, the Honda seems to be a bit more planted. Okay, both Gallagher and Newsham have got exactly the same amount of ballast on their cars, but the i30 seems to be a bit more planted, even with the heavy weight on it, as Ormerod goes up the inside of Gallagher, heading into the final corner, and they have a little bit of a lover's tiff, side panel to side panel. As there's Isaac Smith trying to go past James West. Yeah, it's very, very close there. I think it was just the slightest amount of contact. Ormerod now gets ahead of Gallagher, who's demoted all the way down to P5. Whitehead and Andy Derrick now rounding out the top 7. And the Volkswagen looks to be poised to maybe even take a top 5 finish. As Gallagher trying to swarm all over the back bumper of Ormerod, trying to get past. Gallagher runs wide. Whitehead looking towards the inside. Derrick not too far behind. And then also, in the meantime, Senna Proctor. And once again, he's got the wings on that Honda Civic as Max Bird. He's up to ninth place past Andy Mellors. Oh, up the inside of Gallagher goes Whitehead. Gallagher goes wide again. So, I don't think that Tony Gallagher's having... I think he's had more lives lost than a cat that has 9. And he's got about 3 left.
He's met Harry.
Yeah, well, I think he's also met everyone else, and that includes Whitehead, who's just got past. Derrick might get up the inside very, very shortly. No, Gallagher gets back in front. No, Whitehead retakes the position. Gallagher goes towards the other side, the right-hand side of the Hyundais. We've got just over 30 seconds to tick away here.
And Max Bird up to 7th. Great drive. He's had an exceptional race 1 and a great drive in race 2, even if he doesn't finish there. But look at the battle. Look at the closeness there in the midfield.
I think the 2 words that are coming out of my mouth right now are "Mamma Mia." As Gallagher goes a little bit too hot into that corner. That's allowing Max Bird to go up the inside. Nicely done by Max Bird. He's not going to get to the victory, but if he gets past Luke Whitehead, I think he's done an absolutely stellar job. Oh, Alex Toth Jones and Callum Newsham battling away over second position. Toth Jones to the inside. Newsham trying to power around the outside. Toth Jones will take the tighter line through the final corner. We will go now onto the final lap as Max goes. Oh! Gallagher nearly goes into the side of Max Bird there. This time, we will get the final lap shown to us, I think, or not, as the case may be. Just wait for it. Newsham round towards the outside of Alex Toth Jones into turn 1. Toth Jones again takes a tight defensive line. Lock up there from Newsham. And this is allowing... Oh, here's... hello. I was going to say hooray Henry. It's hooray Harry.
I was going to say, in terms of your Mamma Mia comment, here we go again.
My oh my.
My.
How can I forget you? Yeah, thanks, Harry.
Yeah. Let's pixelate. Oh, don't take the turview off.
No, I think the
Bring it home.
nearly
Purely
three.
from
It's a pair of battling South Korean trio of battling South Korean cars, all Hyundai i30s. As Omron tried to go up the inside of Newsham, went into the side of the number 16, but didn't come out too great on that one again. But however, Omron has got past Newsham on that particular corner. So next time around, we will get the final lap. Oh, Newsham in the back of Omron there. And that is allowing Alex Toth-Jones to start breaking away. He's got a gap of around 5 tenths of a second, is up towards the hairpin for the penultimate time. Oh my goodness me. And now Max Bird senses, oh, hello boys. I sniff a podium from a slight distance.
I'm back.
Yes. Return of the Max. Oh, Andy Derrick's been turned around. Oh no. He would have been 8th position. Wondering if might have been the slightest amount of contact between him and Senna Proctor, as now Harry Omrod definitely fending off Callum Newsham. Max Bird trying to go towards the inside. He's got a really good run. Max. Yep, he's got a really good run here as they go towards the final corner for the penultimate time. Side by side between the Honda and the Hyundai, but the Honda's got slightly ahead heading into the corner. Newsham will have the inside run towards the corner as Omrod now goes in front of Newsham as Max Bird goes round the outside of Newsham. And that was a bit of a disaster there for Callum Newsham, as I think he had nowhere else to go. But we've had the checkered flag, and the win has gone to Max Coates. Second to Alex Toth-Jones. A great defensive masterclass from him. Looks like Harry Omerod's taken 3rd place, fractionally ahead of Max Bird. And that was by absolutely nothing at the end of it. Or did Max Bird get it? Well, it's showing, I'm not too sure. But Max Coates takes the victory for race 2. And he becomes our first ever 3rd time race winner. So that is 10 drivers out of 14 races. Max Coates, after doing the Grand Chelem at Brands Hatch, now comes back and wins the reverse grid race 2 at Sepang, ahead of Alex Toth-Jones. Well, with Harry Omrod. Here's Harry, and what's more, ladies and gentlemen, he's on the podium.
That was bonkers. Absolutely great. I think we don't do driver of the day, but in my book, that's got to go to Max Bird. What an awesome drive in the second race as well. The first race, as I said, just the full hat, full set. Second race, that was a great race, great drive. And Harry. What can you say about Harry? He just provides entertainment. Every time we go to one of these evenings, he's always there.
Yeah, so as you can see, Max Coates takes the win. Alex Toth-Jones in second, Harry Omrod in third. Max Bird recovers. I'll get down to the booth in just a moment. Max Bird, Callum Newsham, we've got Whitehead, Gallagher, Mellors, Proctor, Smith, Marshall, Rask, Andy Carroll. Then we got James West, Jack McIntyre, Rich Hayden, Paul Laramie. We've got Andy Derrick recovering to finish 18th ahead of Cobby Leakins. Rob Butler all the way down in 20th ahead of Kenny Press and John Cole. So very, very shortly as we wait for the top 3 to get to the grid. But I will now very shortly head down to the interview booth.
I'll just join in and say well done to the guys, because that was great entertainment.
Definitely.
Yeah, awesome.
Let's head down there, shall we, Martin?
Yep.
Said that.
What a second race here at Sepang. And I cannot believe I am saying this. Max Coates, you are the first 3-time race winner of the Virtual Reality Racing Club Touring Car eSeries. Well done, buddy. And congratulations with your results at Donington this past weekend as well, I might add.
Yeah, it's not bad, is it? Happy with that. So, race 1 was a bit rubbish for me. But yeah, race 2 worked a treat and came out on top.
But also, the race 2 reverse grids always provide that little bit of a spectacle. It's always about survival of the fittest. with your real life racing experience, of which I know you've got plenty of, mate, considering the amount of time that you and I have been friends, it was quite nice to see someone else get a chance to sort of like go, well, yeah, I've got a chance here. I've not got that much ballast. I mean, you had 70 kilos all the way through the Alex had 50 more kilos, and that would have compromised the tyres and the characteristics of the car handling. You just managed to sort of just get the job at the end of the day and just pull away whilst everyone else was squabbling all over the scraps.
Yeah, first few laps, and Alex kind of got away. I got tangled in a bit of mess. So once it all started to develop, and probably 15 minutes to go, I could see that I clearly had a bit more pace than Alex, which I think was naturally a weight thing rather than a driver thing, if I'm honest. So yeah, I realised that, so knew I just needed to kind of get clear. Picked off Tony, new to the championship, and then just set about catching Alex and thought, yeah, we'll get this move done nice and clean as and when it suits. It's going to happen. Just get it done cleanly, and then try and escape from there.
Well done, Max. We'll see you at Shanghai next week, and have a good one, mate. Well done this evening.
Well
Thank
done,
you very
Max.
much.
Well done, Max.
Cheers.
Martin here. Great drive. Well done.
Thank you. Hopefully we're back next week. I'm not too sure if other commitments might mean I can't. So hopefully I'm back.
That'd be really good. You just spoilt us an MSL, but there you go. I'll forgive
It's
you.
easy. We just need to get some logos on my car.
Yeah.
You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen.
Good skills. I like that. Brass necked.
Cheers.
Cheers,
mate.
Max. Right, Alex Toth-Jones, reverse grid pole position. You hung on for over 3/4 of the race, even with 120 kilos ballast. Be honest with me, Alex. How were the tyres faring after that one?
Well, that was hard. That was very hard. Yeah, the front left was dead. I knew I had to pull as much of a gap as I could, and then hope the tyres didn't really deteriorate too much. But it became clear that Max and the other Honda behind were just clawing me in, and then it just became a bit of survival. Tried to battle with Max, but the pace was too much, and then it was all about hanging on to second. I mean, I had to get the elbows out with a couple of laps to go, but positioned myself well to keep second, and yeah, I'll take that after race one.
Also, this becomes your second podium of the season so far, because your last one was at Zolder back at race one. So that's been a long old drought, around about 8 races before getting onto the podium here. But you've kept yourself pretty much, I think, in the championship battle, even though the top 3 have been squabbling between themselves a bit further back from your position here in race 2. How are you fancying your chances going to Shanghai, Bathurst and Kota over the next 3 weeks?
It'd be nice if I had a bit less ballast. I think it has made it tough. I think the first couple of rounds were quite kind to me. Obviously, the first one there's no ballast, and the second one I didn't have too much, so I could put a bit of a dent. But yeah, from that I've struggled a little bit with the ballast. Monza was a bit of an exception, but after that it's been really tough. I felt I had top 10 pace this week. Today, not this weekend. Just race one became a little bit of carnage, but I knew if I finished I'd get reverse grid pole, and I thought that's where the points are going to be. So hopefully, might have a little less ballast, might have a bit more after this result, but I'm sure Shanghai will be just like this.
Well done, Alex. Great job in race 2, and we'll see you in a week's time.
Thank you very much.
Well done, Alex. You pulled your finger out, and great result. Me too. I feel your pain on the tyres and the weight thing, but yeah, great result, dude.
Cheers, mine.
Well, I think I don't know if we're going to be able to speak to Harry Amora, but in the meantime, I'll have a chat with the man behind the virtual reality. Hayden. Rich, another 2 great races here at the Sepang International Circuit. I think when you were thinking of the idea of having this 10-week series, did you expect for it to be anything like this, like how it's transpired with the ballast and with the reverse grids and everything? I mean, myself and Martin have been hand on heart, absolutely loving the action all the way through so far.
So
That's brilliant.
yeah,
Brilliant, Rick.
yeah. So good evening, everyone. Yeah, I mean, look, I put a lot of ballast on because we've got some very, very fast sim racers and some very fast real life drivers as well. So I wanted to put something in that leveled the field and made it a little bit more difficult for them. And in the process, it's made for some really close racing. So happy with that. Very, very happy indeed.
So we've obviously got 3 more rounds to go before we crown our virtual reality racing club eSeries champion. Shanghai, Bathurst, and Kota. You couldn't have put together 3 more different circuits if ever you tried. Shanghai, we know it's tight points on the circuit, but very much like Sepang, there's a lot of long straightaways. Bathurst is about commitment, carrying the momentum, and just having the cojones to go for it when you need to through certain points of the circuit. And then Kota, very much in some parts, very much like Silverstone through the turns 2, 3, and 4 complex, but it's also got its own challenges. How do you think the drivers are going to really, really cope over the next 3 weeks as we come towards the end of the season?
Well, look, I think Shanghai is going to be great. It's going to be a killer for the guys with ballast again, unfortunately for them. That includes myself as well. But Bathurst is going to be a real killer. And I can't wait to get to Bathurst. And then, what a circuit to end this series on. We're going over to the circuit of the Americas. So I'm really looking forward to it. And it's so tight at the top. Nobody can tell who's going to win this at the moment, which is, kind of how I wanted it to be. I wanted it to be right down to the lap wire, and it looks like we're going to get some exciting last 3 races.
Brilliant stuff. Well, thank you very much, Rich, as always. I know it's not been the easiest time when you've put so much effort getting into it, but it was good to see you battling out there with Senna and quite a few other people's out on the circuit. But is Shanghai a track that you're going to be... I know you've been busy with everything going on with VRRC at the moment, with the simulators back up and running, clients coming in to have tuitions and stuff like that. Are you going to try and see if you can get a bit some welcome practice in for Shanghai for next week, as best you can?
I always try. It's that delicate balancing act between a relationship, a business, and practice. So
actually, very, very well put there, I must admit.
So yes, I am going to try. There are some big projects going on at the moment here at Virtual Reality Racing Club that are going to be coming to fruition in the next few months. So I'm actually having to spend quite a lot of time in that. But I'm quite lucky that Mr. Alex Toth-Jones is now staying in my vicinity. So I'm hoping to see him over here in the next week doing some laps practicing. So hopefully I can jump on with him and get some laps in at the same time.
Great, awesome, Rich. Many thanks for your hospitality for Alex, and what a great race again. And thanks, Michael, Alex, all the guys, everybody involved. I'm signing out, and see you in Shanghai.
Thanks, Martin.
Right, well, that really rounds out all the action here from the Sepang International Circuit here in Malaysia for the 7th round of the Virtual Reality Racing Club Touring Car eSeries with Alex Goldschmidt and Martin Jones, your official commentators. Martin, final thoughts of tonight before we go to China at the Shanghai International Circuit in just 7 days' time.
It didn't disappoint again, did it, mate?
No, it didn't. It did not. And as you can see, we still have on the 11th of August, Shanghai, Bathurst, aka Mountain Panorama, on the 18th of August. And then we've got Kota on the 25th, which is our final of 10 race weeks here on the VRRC Touring Car eSeries. And you'll have seen the prizes on the screen briefly. For our champion, they'll get a set of OBP Esports pedals, a SimLab P1X chassis for second, our runner-up, and rounding out the podium, that third-placed individual at the end of the standings, the end of the season on the standings, will be receiving an SQ shifter from Fanatec. A Thurstmaster T-LCM will be heading to the driver that takes 4th overall after the 10 races are done and dusted. And rounding out the top 5, the 5th place will receive a Ebuyer voucher to the value of £100. So, with that being said, on behalf of myself, Alex Goldschmidt, and MSL Motorsports Consultancy's very own Martin Jones, thank you very much for tuning in to round 7 of the Virtual Reality Racing Club Touring Car eSeries, brought to you in association with MSL Motorsport Consultancy and heatingshop.ie. Don't forget, we are back this time next week for the 8th round, and we head to the Shanghai International Circuit. 7 race evenings done, 3 to go. The race is truly on. And before I forget, if you do want to find out where you can get these fantastic touring cars to race on your computers, have a look at Tommy's Touring Cars. A fantastic job by this particular individual. Have a look. And above all, wherever you are in the world, thank you for watching and stay safe. Very good evening to you all.